I spent the last 8 weeks serving the Lord in Malawi. I want to start by saying thank you all for the prayers and the support that you have shown me. Without these things, my trip wouldn't have been possible. Malawi is a small country in Africa that borders with Mozambique and Tanzania. My team consisted of 15 teenagers from all over the country. I had 5 leaders, and my 2 head leaders brought their 8-year-old daughter with them. I left New Jersey on June 15th. I flew to Florida for 2 weeks of boot camp. There, me and my team were trained for what we were going to expect in Africa. One of my favorite times as boot camp was when me and my teammate accidentally left our tent door open. We didn't mean to do this, but somehow it happened. I don't know how many of you have experienced a Florida downpour, but later that afternoon, it downpoured. My friend and I decided that it wasn't worth worrying about all of our soaking wet stuff in our tent, so we prayed about it. We just gave it all to the Lord. That night, we were walking back to our tent, and we were thinking about all of our wet stuff. We're like, we're not going to sleep at all tonight. This is not going to be a good situation. And in Florida, clothes don't dry very fast because it's so humid. So we're thinking about it, and we're like, we're not going to have any dry clothes. And so we were walking back to our tent, and we got back to our tent, and my friend felt the outside of our tent, and it was completely dry. And we were like, there's no way that everything's dry in here. It was downpouring for like 35 minutes. And we felt in our tent, and everything in our tent was completely dry. Outside of our tent, there was puddles everywhere. The top of our tent was soaking, but everything, all of our clothes, everything in it was completely dry. So that was just a really cool moment in both of our lives. So on the 29th of June, we had commissioning. There were 330 teenagers that were commissioned into all the world, which was was a cool experience to see. We stayed back in Florida for 2 more days. We did a couple small things at boot camp. And then on July 1st, we flew to Africa. It was about 2 days of travel, which was interesting. The first week we were in Africa, we stayed at the Teen Missions base, which was the only place where we had running water for the 5 weeks we were in Africa. There we organized all of our stuff, and we did a couple small work projects around the base just to help out. The second, third, and fourth weeks that we were in Africa, we started our clinics. We did a medical clinic and an eyeglass clinic. On the medical side, we handed out things like cough syrup, ibuprofen, aspirin, muscle rubs, and we treated infected cuts, scrapes, and scabies on kids. That was definitely an experience. There was a lot of people that would come in that we couldn't help because their medical needs were too great. There's a couple people that came in with things like cancer and seizures, and so we explained to them that we can't heal them. Humans don't even have medicine that can heal these things completely, but we know who can heal them. And we explained to him how the great physician can work in their lives and can heal them of all their medical issues. And then we also did a reading glasses that we handed out. We tested and handed out, I think, about 2,000 pairs of glasses over the 3 weeks that we did clinics. In total, we treated about 2,700 people that came through their clinics, and we prayed for each and every one of them, and that we had full faith that God could heal them, even if we couldn't give them any medicine. Most days, we didn't need all 15 team members in the clinic, even though it was crazy in the clinic. So normally we had about 2 people working on small work projects at the rescue units that we were staying at. We built 22 benches, I think, over our time there, and we also built a small wall. After clinics, we had the chance to play with all the kids that were at the rescue unit. Normally there was about 150 to 200 kids at the rescue unit, and they would come about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they would stay there until about dark, which was normally 6:30. You could see in the video there's a lot of kids always around us. About once a week, we went into the villages that we were staying in, and we did a presentation for them. This included, we would come and we would blow up a bunch of balloons and make balloon animals to get the kids excited. We would do a drama, we did puppets, and we presented the gospel in a number of ways. We also handed out coloring books, bracelets that had the gospel incorporated them, small booklets, and just little things like that, which to them was most likely the only new thing that they would get in a number of years. Normally all the clothes that they would buy would be used clothes that people from America would donate over there. We went to the local churches every week. A church service normally lasted 3 to 3.5 hours. So we were all sitting on benches with no backs or a bucket for 3 hours. There was normally 2 sermons. You would come in, they would sing a couple songs, sermon, sing some more, pray, another sermon. So it dragged on. Well, it didn't drag on, but it was definitely a lot different than church here in America. Our last week in Malawi, we went back to the base where we had running water again, which after bucket showers for 3 weeks was definitely something nice. We did one last clinic at a rescue unit there. At that rescue unit, we also saw a lady who was of Muslim faith. She came in, and I'm not sure what exactly we medically we helped her with, but we all went over and formed a circle around her, and we prayed over her. And she had faith that our God could heal her, which was definitely something really cool to experience, that she was willing for us to pray for her. We also did some sightseeing that last week. Over the time in Malawi, we climbed 2 mountains. We visited a bunch of cave paintings. And then on the last week, we went to Lake Malawi, which is about the size of Lake Michigan. And we got to swim there. And we went on a safari where we saw a couple animals. We saw an elephant, hippos, antelope, a bunch of monkeys, which were everywhere. There was always monkeys around us. And we also packed everything out. We came over to Malawi with 40 duffels, and we left with 20 duffels. So that was fun to reorganize everything and pack it all away. And we got back to Florida on August 5th, and we had 3 days at debrief, which were classes that would prepare us back to come to reality, where we have running water and showers. And then on August 9th, I came back to New Jersey with my parents. When I look back at the summer, I will never forget all the kids who didn't have many physical things, but their hearts were filled with so much joy. Their smiles would brighten your day immediately, and they left a lasting impact on my heart. Thank you again.